It is Friday, February 20th, 2026. So, one of the best things I watched yesterday that I'm going to focus on today was an interview with Heather Cox Richardson and Tina Smith, my local senator. And despite everything that's going on in Minneapolis or Minnesota right now, there was one very present focus for that interview, and it warrants us all focusing on for a hot minute here. And that's the Boundary Waters Canoe Area. As part of the full-on war on Minnesota, in addition to illegally clawing back Health and Human Services funding to the tune of $600 million that's being contested in court, in addition to the massive domestic costs being racked up as the fallout of Operation Metro Storm and the continuing ice presence here, in addition to our hospitals and healthcare systems straining and our schools being affected, they are also targeting one of our state's most important natural resources, the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, or BWCA. This is really important. It's a huge protected area, and it's important to me personally, because when I think about camping or canoeing, it was trips up to Lake Itasca and the boundary waters for the Mississippi River that come to mind, right? They were the big exciting trips that we went on when we were kids. Our closest families we knew from our church community, and luckily our closest family friends had a dad who was very Minnesotan or Minnesotan attuned in the ways of the outdoors. So when I learned to canoe and I learned to fish and those other very outdoorsy activities, largely it was through found family, through a church community, because my own father, bless his heart, has his work life and his church life, and he will go camping in a tent by a car, and he will go on hikes, but never was a big fisher or huntsman. So yeah, when I think of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, it's a very special thing to me. I think of a number of camping trips, usually when I was growing up. I think of campfire songs and toasted marshmallows and a canoe. And I love canoeing. It's a great thing. If you've never been in a canoe, I highly recommend it. If you can stay in a canoe or go on a longer canoeing trip, maybe some backpacking, if you can survive in a canoe with somebody, that is about the best foundation for a long-lasting friendship or relationship that you're likely to have. So it kind of kills me that as part of this 2025 agenda or war on Minnesota, the federal government has perverted the law once again in such a way that they are voting to allow a Chilean mining company to start doing copper-sulfide mining, a type of extremely destructive mining that results in a significant amount of sulfuric acid as a byproduct of the mining itself. And they want to do it right next to one of the most fragile, delicate, and important ecosystems that we have here in the state of Minnesota, the Boundary Waters Canoe Area. It's a humongous area. It borders Canada, and it is both important to our relationship with the outdoors, which is kind of a crucial part of being a Minnesotan, also pretty important to our Native communities and heritage and all of our connection with the land. And if they are allowed to do this, which, as it turns out, is going to require 4 Republican senators to vote against, in the case that we want to stop them from handing over mining rights to a Chilean company that just happens to be in with the administration, then a small number of extremely wealthy people will get even wealthier by exploiting our natural resources and putting maybe 150 total long-term jobs in our state. It's not a win for anyone in Minnesota, and it's going to require Republicans to stand up and do the right thing in a number of days here to vote against it in order to prevent it. But it will set a precedent for the exploitation of all protected natural areas in the United States to be simply gobbled up and mined for short-term profits of people who aren't even necessarily residents of the states that these protected areas are in. So yeah, full vigilance, not a super fun topic, but an incredibly important one. If you're not in Minnesota, call your senator and tell them absolutely not. Protect the Boundary Waters Canoe Area. That was the most practical advice that we were given. And it seems kind of hopeless, but hey, maybe somebody from Montana will understand that, yeah, we can't just fuck up the land nonstop. Maybe somebody from somewhere out in the West Midwest will grow a spine or a conscience and stand up for land use. But chances are they're going to kowtow to Donald Trump because, can't stick your neck out, might get punished. And so many of these people are just going to resign anyway. And they're just like a decade or two from death. So what do they care if we fuck up our planet and, future generations of kids don't get to have nice memories camping by the Boundary Waters?